In the proofs topic, there's not really a method that I can teach you, like with the other topics. Proofs is primarily testing your logical reasoning and your mathematical reasoning. Now, yes, there isn't a direct method that I can teach you, but I can give you ideas as to how to go about answering a question. Now, when it comes to proof, you can prove something in 3 ways: deduction, exhaustion, and counterexample. In deduction, you are outlining logical steps. So you can say, you can just state facts, and you can use logical steps to get to the desired conclusion. So proving that something is the case. Okay, the next one is exhaustion. Exhaustion, you can think of it like trial and error. It's not exactly trial and error, so I'll put quotation marks, but it's almost trial and error. You can break things apart. You can try different things. You can try and get multiple results and then piece it together. Okay? The last one is counterexample. So proving untrue would be counterexample. So if they're asking you to prove something is the case, you can prove why it's not the case. I hope that made sense. That's a little confusing, but yeah, that's essentially how it works. The best way to really get an understanding of proof is to go through some questions. The first one is this: prove that the statement n squared minus n plus 3 is a prime number for all values of n is untrue, which means we're trying to go for counterexample. We're trying to prove that it's not true. So all you have to do is find an integer where it disproves that hypothesis. Only one. As long as you have one, there you go, it's untrue. So can you think of a number where if you plug it into n squared minus n plus 3, you don't get a prime number? 6. If n equals 6, then you get 6 squared minus 6 plus 3, which is 33. And 33 is not prime. There you go. That is proving by counter-exhaustion, or giving a counter-example. Okay, next one. Prove that the difference of the squares of 2 consecutive even numbers is always divisible by 4. Okay, you can break this down and you can lay out logical steps to prove it. It says the squares of 2 consecutive even numbers. A number is even when it's multiplied by 2. So even number 1, we're going to make that 2n. We're keeping it general, we're working with integers, but as long as it's multiplied by 2, that's our first even number. The next consecutive even number will be 2n plus 2. Does that make sense? It says prove that the difference of the squares of two consecutive even numbers. So we're going to square each one, even number 2 squared minus even number 1 squared. And now we're going to expand and simplify. So can you try that? Can you expand and simplify that expression for me, please? So you should have gotten 8n plus 4. If I take 4 out, I get this. That bracket is a multiple of 4. And so it will always be divisible by 4. And that's all you have to say. 4 bracket 2n plus 1 is a multiple of 4. So is always divisible by 4. There you go. That's your proof. And what you've done is lay out logical steps to prove that that's the case. Is this statement true for odd numbers? Okay. So if we want an odd number, we have to take 2n and we have to minus 1 from it. Okay? That would be odd number 1. Odd number 2 would be 2n plus 1. Or you could do 2n minus 3 potentially. Okay, you're going to do the square of each and you're going to work out the difference. So same thing as before. Can you expand and simplify this for me, please? Should have gotten 8n. If you take out 4, you get 2n on the inside, which still works with this statement, except instead of having 4 bracket 2n plus 1 is a multiple of 4, it's 4 bracket 2n is a multiple of 4. That's it. So yes, it is true for odd numbers as well. That is essentially how you do proof, or 2 types of proof questions. The best way to get good at proofs is to do as many questions as you can. So I would definitely suggest taking the time to go through them.